But if somebody is not keeping notes and accurate data on your property, there's no way they can be doing a correct job for you. It's just not possible. I won't possibly know what somebody paid in rent 3 months ago.
Yeah, too much.
So I can't tell you what they paid. The other thing is in terms of repairs. So whenever I do a repair, first of all, my company doesn't have in-house vendors. So we task out, the plumber, the electrician, the handyman. Everybody has their own.
The Rolodex, I'm presuming the people you.
We have, of course. Yeah, they're on our books. We work with them daily. We have great relationships, let me say that. Like, for instance, if I send the plumber in there and you got a big giant dog, the plumber's gonna fix where he has to, but he's also gonna pick up the phone and call me. Did you know they had this big dog in there? Or what unit is that? Oh yeah, they have a pet agreement, they're fine. So that's the kind of relationship that I have with them. If they go in your house and your house is a mess, they are gonna tell. They're gonna tell.
That's a good relationship.
They are, yeah, they are. Because one, they know when they go into my properties, that's not the norm for me. So if they see that that's out of the ordinary, so, oh, she don't know about this. You tell me, we're over there in a couple of days. So another thing is that you have to be mindful of the relationships that you have as far as those vendors and things like that. And then also, you want to have those people on staff, like for your emergencies, like if something is leaking, you want to be able to have a go-to person to get to that real quick. That's important. Again, maintenance, having, the ability. So one thing we do is we collect a reserve for repairs for people.
Is it a monthly?
No, it's when you first start. So when you start with my company, you don't pay us anything up front. So that's one good thing is, I work for my money. I don't collect any money from you until I give you a tenant.
Is this a Lakesha thing or?
That is a Lakesha, no. That's a Lakesha thing. The industry thing is they won't charge you the full amount. So let's just say it's a 10% management fee. While it's empty, they may only charge you 5%.
Got it.
I mean, and that's fair. They still have some things they got to do. I just feel like if it was me, I want to know you working hard for this.
Got it.
So I do it. And I am going to work hard to get the tenant, so I'm working for my money. So that is a Lakesha thing. What we do is when you come on and we do get that tenant for you, we take $350 out of that first month's payment. That's your repair escrow. So we already have $350 to help you out on your account at all times. Sink leaks, we have the money to pay for it. Now, in the event the bill is larger than that, then we have a conversation with you. Hey, how do you want to take care of this? We already have $350. You want to put the other $200 in? Or do you need, if it's maybe the 5th of the month and we got rent, you want me to just go ahead and take it out the rent and then you don't have to put anything? So we've got options for you. Okay, and that's the important thing, is having that relationship.
I just remember like it was yesterday that I see property managers collect the rent. Once again, I want to know your opinion. They collect the rent and then they have an expense that clearly is not $800, tagging this stuff onto my.
So you should have an invoice. Like I said, since we don't have in-house maintenance, we have a person who actually went to your property. So in our portal, their bill is attached. So if it was $800, Joe Plumbing's bill is attached. You look at the bill, call Joe. Joe, what was this for $800? Oh, well, it was the water heater, but what happened was when we got there, such and such happened, we wound up, And now you're talking to Joe. Joe is not prepped by me. I don't even know you're talking to Joe. Joe's information is on his invoice. You call Joy. And then that way that's included. You don't have to ask us for a copy of your receipts. They're built into your portal. So every month when we send you the breakdown, we send you a copy of that. And that should be standard. If you're not getting that, you should get that.
Fishy then, if you I know none of my people got those.
When it comes to money, I really don't want you to have to ask me any questions, because I feel that, one, I happen to know people, and I know people are not comfortable sometimes approaching circumstances that could be confrontational. So someone might think, that's $800 is a ripoff. Well, I would rather you call me and let me explain it than you sit there and hold that thought in your head, because now everything I do to you is not going to be right. But if you called me and I said, hey, click the button so you can see Joe's invoice, and feel free to call Joe and ask him any questions. Now you're like, oh, well, she didn't have anything to hide. And let me see next month. Oh, next month there's another bill. This is by such and such. Let me call them. You have the information at your hand, so there's never anything hidden. And I feel like that's important, because I feel like that builds a relationship. If I gotta ask you for it, why I gotta ask you for it?
That's a good point. Wow. Is that good information, y'all, or what? Yeah. I know Lakesha is here to learn how to hire a good property manager.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these are the things that you have the right to have. You have the.
I didn't know you could even request that. I mean,
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, it shouldn't be a request. It really should be part of how they perform. It really should be.
All right. So we're talking about screening tenants in the property manager's toolkit that we're going to offer. Let's talk about screening tenants, because I firmly believe that a vacant property is better than a bad tenant.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I hear some amens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And one thing, when of course, whenever new owners come on, they're like, "How soon can you get this property rented?" And I tell them,
Oh yeah, I'm not the one.
I tell them, listen, I'm going to tell you, I don't promise miracles. I am going to do an A+ job on marketing your property, on screening a potential tenant, but I cannot promise you I will have somebody in here in 10 days. Sometimes they try to, well, how many days? So we get a qualified tenant. But what I will tell you and what we do is I also let them know I'm probably going to deny 2 to 3 people before I can take a person for your property. And they say, really? Yeah. This is based off of my experience. I am going to deny 2 to 3 people.
Let's talk about the old Lakesha starting out and the one now. Tell us a little bit of the compare and contrast that, because I know for me it was just like night and day.
So it was what I started off when I said having that document, having everything I'm going to ask them, having it in writing. So I'm asking everybody the same question.
Okay, you started out like that?
No, that's the difference. I didn't start out like that. I'd be like, this person, what you do? Nope, you can't do that. Everything has to be standard.
Got it.
I'm gonna tell you another practice I have, and this is just a Lakesha thing because I'm kind of quirky like that. When people submit applications to me, I will not look at their ID.
I don't look at the ID.
I don't look at the ID.
Why?
I feel like as imperfect human beings, we become judgmental. And it could lead you to want to ask them additional questions you wouldn't ask the next person.
Based on the picture?
Based on the picture.
Yeah.
Based on the picture. You won't know it until someone maybe does a test like that to you. It's like, hey, here is ABC makes $30,000. Here is, ABC makes $30,000. And you look at their pictures and you're like, yeah, but what do they do for their money? You know what I mean? It's on the thing. You got to do a valid check. So I don't look at people's ID. That's a Keisha quirky thing, okay? Because it makes me judgmental. I also don't let owners be a part of my approval process. Why? Because it's personal for them. So people ask me, well, what kind of person is it? Are they nice? I don't know them personally. I can tell you what they met as far as my standards and my criteria, but I don't know them personally to tell you if they're a nice person or not. I can tell you what their landlord said. I can tell you how long they've been at their job, what the likelihood of them continuing their job, because that's part of the rental employment verification.
I saw that.
Yeah, because if they on their way out the door, tell me about it. Why am I taking you? You about to be fired.
Documents that you get, the thing that says how likely is this person to be.
Yep. Because it might be on write-up number 3. They're about to be out of there. You're not a good candidate. Because think about it, we're going to compare. I got 3 people who want this house. This person has an excellent employment verification. It's part of my criteria. They get scores for all those questions. They get scoring. So part of what's the new Lakesha, the old Lakesha, is having those things documented. Asking certain questions for certain reasons. For instance, on a newer rental application, it'll ask you if they have a pet service, if they had a pet service animal and comfort animal, right? And you're saying, well, why? Well, because if people who have pets are not going to get rid of their pets, unless something happened. So if they had a pet at your house last month and they're coming to me, to my property that says no pets, where did this pet go? We need to talk about it. So that's something that was not on my original question. I would just, want to know, hey, do you have one now? Well, no, I want to know, did you have one last month too? Or at your last rental? Were there any damages by that pet? Because pets, and I'm going to use the words pets, service animals, and comfort animals interchangeably, but they don't mean the same thing. So what I mean by that is if you say I don't want pets at my property, that does not apply to a service or comfort animal. They are not a pet under the regulations, okay? Yes, some of them are cane corsos, okay?
You told me about.
Like the cane corso, okay.
That's a huge dog for anybody.
Cane corso is my size. Yes, the cane corso, probably an amazing animal. I've actually looked at them, but I'm like, they too big for me. Like they would stumble all over me.
Service animal?
Yeah, it was a service animal. But it was verified as a service animal because there are no restrictions on what it can be. So yes, pit bulls can be service animals. You'll even see them with the vest that says service animals. They're so cute. As long as they have the verification, they are considered a service company.
A pit bull as a service animal. I don't.